Joker the Fool here, back at it again with another poll review. And this is going to be the 8th episode, I believe, of poll review, which, if you haven't watched any one of these before, I do the daily poll series on exclusively games, not official, not yet anyways. And basically in poll review I go through the last 7 of the daily polls that I did, and I go through the topic, why I chose them, the results, and then your responses in the comments below. So let's start with daily poll 57. Did you buy Katana Zero? And I mean, this is another one of the obligatory, a game launched, and I'll do a poll about it because I can't come up with anything good for that day. Most people didn't buy Katana Zero. Have got no plans to. Some people might buy Katana Zero. One person will. I think that's me. Yeah, I said that. That was me. I will buy the game in the future. I'm just saving up money right now because I want to build a PC, but after that I'll probably get it. When it goes on sale really cheap, I'll probably pick it up. Thomas says he's heard good things about it, not entirely sold yet. Retro's trying to be a bit more cautious with his money at the moment. Game itself looks really good, maybe in the future. And I'm where I'm at. I'm exactly where Retro is. That's what I gotta say. So Bolta says he might buy it at a later date. Played the demo a few weeks ago, and the gameplay did not completely click, but the dialogue is great. There are too many good games on Switch this month, and mostly playing through Final Fantasies. Yeah, understandable. I mean, there's always a lot of really good stuff on Switch, and I mean. But what I've been playing recently on Switch has been Joker and Smash, and that's what's dominating my Switch playtime. So, so I guess we'll read the final one. Jack Fatier says it's interesting, and it's on a Steam wish list, but he sees Dark Devotion coming out on the 25th, and Tales of Neon Sea releases on the 30th, which is today. So, happy playing. But we'll move on to the 58th daily poll, and this one got a lot of traction, and it's on piracy. So it was just me asking if piracy is okay, and I could have definitely been justified in making this a multiple choice one because these two, they aren't mutually exclusive, but I just didn't really occur to me because these are like only picking this one and this one with each other make sense. So, but I guess I should have assumed that people aren't stupid. And if they picked this one, they wouldn't pick any other. If they would pick this one, they wouldn't pick these other ones, or they would pick this and they wouldn't pick the other ones. But that's beside the point. Yeah. So Jacketeer just mentions that. But most, this is pretty interesting. About 50%, like exactly down the line, will say that. Piracy is only okay when you can't get the game any other way, and then about 20% say it's okay when the developer or publisher are bad, and then about 20%, a little bit more, say piracy is always okay, and then 8 people say piracy is never okay. So the majority of these people, or at least the majority of the people who vote on this poll, think there are justified cases of when to pirate, and I do think that piracy is only okay when you can't acquire the game legally. So like I have no problems with people who use the emulator sites, because that's how I got into playing Nintendo games, and then I bought then I invested in the Nintendo systems, and I've given Nintendo hundreds of dollars, so I think I've rectified. So I think Nintendo only gained money from me getting Wind Waker from unofficial means, and when I played it, I wasn't really any other way for me to get it, but I got Wind Waker HD because I emulated it on my PC. So I think a lot of people would probably be able to relate to that, not with just emulation, but with a bunch of other games, because I use piracy as a method of playing a demo. That's probably another option I would have been justified in putting, like piracy is only okay when you use it as a demo to see if you want to buy a game or not. Would probably have been a good option to put in it as well, but I never occurred to me. So we can go through some of the replies. Twitch has just got the little emoji there. Very cute. We read Jack of Tears. Irritable Squid says he dislikes piracy, but sometimes there's no other way to play the game. So like for that. He'd feel guilty if he pirated anything he could easily buy. It's not the publisher he punishes, it's the people who make the games that will lose out. And that's definitely true. A lot of developers are overworked and underpaid, and you don't want to contribute to that culture even more. So I can understand where Irritable Squid is getting at. Whereas, the Bobby Koticks of the world aren't really going to be hurting if you find a way to pirate Black Ops 4. But the guys at Treyarch definitely might, if they don't have, if they can't at least see some of that $60. That's a bit. I'm not sure if that makes any sense, but that's basically how I see it's basically, I think the point that Irritable Squid's getting at. Capo Cuppa used to be, I think, Cuppa Joe. This guy's made so many goddamn accounts. He's banned right now, so I don't know. He makes. I see an account pop up a few times a week, and they get banned like that. So I don't know if this guy's still on the forum or he's got some sort of sock account that he didn't name Cuppa, but whatever. He says piracy will never be squashed and usually only affects legal users. He says it has its place on the internet but can be reduced by pro user masters, which I definitely agree with, because if you see the rise of Denuvo, a lot of people will just pirate the game because they don't want to play with Denuvo because it just severely affects the game's performance. So you could have a guy who's like, I'll buy Devil May Cry 5, but I'll play the pirated version because it'll actually run more efficiently, because my computer won't have to run Denuvo on top of the game. I'm sure you found people like that, because Denuvo is just pure shit. So Garrett says piracy is irrelevant. Those who get their software illegally are outside your target audience, because your target audience is people who buy games. It's not a lost sale, it's the absence of a customer. So, I think in some ways that's true, because there are people who just pirate everything and they won't buy everything. But I do think if you're a game developer, your game's going to have the target audience of anyone who plays games on that platform. So if I'm making a PC game, my audience is everyone who plays PC games, essentially. And if you have a person who plays PC games who's pirating my game, well then why are they pirating my game? Is it because I put it on the wrong platform? Is it because I have bad DRM? There's obviously something that obviously people will just pirate the game because, like Garrett said, they don't want to be a customer they got no intention to, and that's just the nature of the business. But if there are, if you can keep track on how much pirating is going on, and if it's more than the usual amount for a game, then I think there are things that a developer could do in terms of maybe how the game's monetized, or how what platform the game is on, in order to reduce that amount of piracy. Because I think you can convert people who pirate games into paying customers if they are willing to buy other games. But obviously there's a select group of people who will just pirate absolutely everything because they don't want to buy it. And that's I personally wouldn't do it myself, but I'm not going to morally grandstand against people who decide to pirate. That's basic. It's not something I'm losing any sleep over. And if I ever manage to make a game, I know people are going to pirate it, and that's just the nature of the internet. So I can't lose. I can't rip my hair out against some things that people do. That's basically. It's basically. I think that's my take on piracy. It's very middle of the road, I'd say. Ari says if I can't get it, he'll pirate. Well, if he can't get it, he'll pirate it. If they're a disgusting fattest corporation with a massive tax haven, then I'm not paying them. Mind you, he just doesn't play games from those companies more often than not. Never pirate from indie devs. If you don't like something, if you don't like something they're doing, just pass altogether. I think that's it. So this is definitely probably one of the longest threads. Pretty interesting to read through, I'd say, because discussion gets pretty heated, pretty interesting. This is a topic where there's a lot of different sides to a lot of different ways this debate can a lot of different positions, and they'll all clash and conflict with each other. So I recommend reading through this thread. I link to all the daily polls I talk about in the description down below. So this the 58 would definitely be one I checked out, but this one actually got a lot of people talking. I was pretty surprised, but definitely not as much as the last one. And this is daily poll 59. Do you own a PS Vita? And I think I think I just swallowed this one. It might have been. I think the PS Vita went out of production like a while ago, so I'm not sure if it was that specifically did. I mean, the piracy one is just one that I thought would be an interesting debate, and definitely was. But this one was just I forget. I don't even know what it was. I think I just randomly thought about it because I just thought about the PS Vita for whatever reason, and a surprising amount of people, almost 30% of you guys own a PS Vita, which is a bit odd. Don't let's see, 20, 40, about 45% of people don't own a PS Vita. They got no plans to. 6%, 3 people don't own a PS Vita but will buy one in the future, and 14% don't own a PS Vita but might buy one in the future, and then 6%, again, the exact same, not the exact same 3 people as well said they used to own a PS Vita. And I'm in this one, like, I might buy a PS Vita, but there's just so little for it. And if Persona 4 Golden gets ported to the PlayStation 4, or at this point the PlayStation 5, or hell even the Nintendo Switch, which could be a possibility, then I'll have no reason to buy a PS Vita. That's like the one exclusive game I'd want to buy the PS Vita for. There's also Tearaway, and I've played Tearaway on the PlayStation 4, and I just didn't have that much fun with it. Got it on PS Plus while I still had PS Plus, and I wasn't really that into it. So that's basically, those are like the only 2. There's like some Uncharted games on the PS Vita that people like, and like a Metal Gear Solid collection. So there's some stuff on the Vita that might be worth checking out, but if you look at PS Vita prices, they are pretty expensive, and I doubt the SD cards are going to get cheaper for them. So it's probably something I might never buy, but I still might. Who knows? Smackum has bought a Vita in 2017. He thinks that the stick. He bought a Vita in 2017. He thinks, and the stick has drift. Can't play at all with the drift. Bought a PlayStation TV. He'll load up a bunch of PS1 games and play them on it. About the only use he'll get out of it. So the PlayStation TV is essentially just the PlayStation Vita hardware and like just a little tiny box, and you plug it to your TV, and it can't do everything the Vita does because it doesn't have the touchscreen. So like the one on the front and the one on the back, so it can't do everything the Vita does, but it can do most things that the Vita does. But like if you look at it, it was like $100 when it came out, but now it's like a lot more expensive than that because they stopped manufacturing it. So they tried to get like a little plug and play system to sort of get like the really cheap users in there, and some people who would want to play Vita games but didn't want to buy a Vita. Which, how many people those exist? So basically, you could even put like Vita cards into it, if I remember correctly. Ethan Saito says it sits on his bookshelf. Doesn't like to talk about it. Thomas says Sony discontinued the PS Vita production last month, so what's the point of owning a console that won't be updated or have new games? Just get a Switch. I already have a Switch, Thomas. I do love it, and definitely that's that's why I got it, because I knew Nintendo would be committed to it. But I definitely agree for the most part. There really isn't a reason to get a Vita, because there just really isn't that much on it, but there is some stuff on it that if like I have a Switch, I have a 3DS, I have a PC, I have a PS4, so there is just a whole metric, I basically most stuff I can play. So for someone like me, there'd be reason to get a Vita, a little bit of a reason to get a Vita, but not a lot. But for someone who's like, it's either me buying a Vita or me buying a Switch, then just buy the Switch, because I mean, that system has actually got a future. You can use you can use regular old SD cards with it because Nintendo was Nintendo actually designed the system with industry standard I/O, which was a really weird move from Nintendo, but one that was greatly appreciated because they use USB-C instead of their own proprietary input, and then they use micro SD cards, which they use on the 3DS, so it's not surprising that they use it on the Switch. But that's just me talking about the Switch, and it's a pretty nice console. It's a pretty well designed, I'd say. In some ways it's well designed, in other ways it isn't. But I could basically say that about literally anything on the planet. Thanks. What's the is it Danks Macabre? I've seen him post on the Daily Polls a few times. So if you ever watch this, and you and Ari need to tell me how to say your goddamn names, because I don't want to get anyone's name wrong, but I definitely will, because it's just how it works. So he says he never owned one, but he's been somewhat fascinated by them, with the possibilities that it had homebrew technology, but the high price to get a decent one, the awful storage cards, and Sony so aggressively going after homebrew, felt it was too much work, really. So might get a second-hand one day if it's at the right price. Looked like a great idea implemented badly, and I think that's basically what it was. The fact that it had the proprietary proprietary SD cards, I think, is what really killed the Vita, because it just made it way too expensive. I mean, it was already really expensive for a portable system, and you add on the proprietary SD cards on top of that, and then you put on the the fact that since it was so expensive and people weren't buying it, developers were like, well, we could either make our game for the Vita or the 3DS, and people are actually buying 3DSs, so let's just make our game for the 3DS, and then the 3DS got more stuff, it got more traction, it was able to survive against the onslaught of mobile gaming, while the Vita really sold about as well as the Wii U did, which is pretty sad. But last reply I'll read for this one is Majestic Boer Goat says he owns a PS Vita TV, about 7 Vita games. He was collecting games for it, but stopped when Sony started putting most of the really good ones to PlayStation 4. Still, it's got some exclusive gems like Persona 4 Golden, which is the only reason I'd get a PlayStation Vita. Girls und Panzer, Senshadow, Kiwa Minimasu, I think that's how you say it. Senran Kagura, Shinobi. I'm sure you meant Shinobi Versus. That haven't been ported yet. There's still a few obscure Japanese games like God Death Game TV that I want to get for it eventually. So, pretty reasonable, I'd say. Okay, but we will move on to Daily Poll 60, which is, did you buy Mortal Kombat 11? And I can tell you this: these poll results are pretty definitive. 93% didn't buy Mortal Kombat 11 and have no plans to. Two votes for they'll buy it in the future, and then 2 people pre-ordered the game. Everyone who responded to this poll, no one got it on launch day, no one got it after launch. Most people either didn't buy it or they're going to buy it. The vast majority of people are either never going to buy it or they will buy it in the future. With very few people, just 2 people who pre-ordered it. And I would say there's a lot of reasons for this. I mean, I think probably one of the primary reasons is that most people on this forum probably aren't massive fighting game fans. And then the microtransactions and the some aspects of the story. But I think the microtransactions are primarily what would turn off a lot of people from Mortal Kombat 11. I think more so than the story stuff, because that isn't. I mean, to be honest, getting mad about stuff like that really isn't. I mean, it really isn't that. I mean, it's just not what I want to do. Man, so reason I'm not a Mortal Kombat fan. That's why I don't have any plans to buy Mortal Kombat. I never really was, never will be, because I'm not into fighting games that much. other than Smash. So Mortal Kombat 11 is just a game I won't buy. I've got no reason to buy it. If I bought it, I really wouldn't enjoy it because I suck at fighting games, and I, I have very little interest in getting good at them. I might buy one day. I might, but that's just me. That is literally just me digressing. So, Retro84 says he's not getting it, not necessarily because of choices that were made for the game, just never really found Mortal Kombat to be fun. It's really the only fighter you can never enjoy. So, yeah, I guess that's fair. Thanks, Macabre says, not really his thing anymore. Quite fun the Game Boy years ago, but he's moved on. Ari says, never cared about Mortal Kombat before his time, to be honest. It looks terribly simplistic mechanically for a fighting game. Maybe he's wrong. Even if he did grow up with it, I don't buy he doesn't buy social justice pandering trash either. Not even if it was my favorite series. So, I mean, I think in some ways it's definitely pandering to the far left mindset, but I don't think it is entirely. I mean, I haven't played the game, but there's definitely are some aspects that are pandering to the far left progressive mindset. But if it was like, but that's not my like I said, not a Mortal Kombat fan. That's not why I will buy this game. But I mean, if you don't want to buy this game because you think it's got political messages one way or another, then be my then that's how you spend your money. Cousin Ed says that's the best way to do it. So if I keep reading through these, people just going to say, yeah, I'm not buying the game. I'm not interested in it. So I'm just going to move on. So this is 61. One will Persona 5 The Royal come out in the West, and this is one that I did because Atlas dropped the Persona 5 The Royal on trailer. It was in Japanese, really, really good. I honestly loved the animation, the presentation, the song that they had Lynn sing. She's a very talented singer. The people who make the soundtrack for that game are really, really skilled, and the trailer in terms of like the sound design is amazing. Whatever animation team that Atlas has, they need to pay them more than they are already being paid because they do. I mean, just some of the best work that I've ever seen. It's just so quick, it's so flashy, it's got tons of personality in terms of like absolutely everyone, and everything about Persona 5 The Royal so far has me really hyped. Obviously, the Western release could get censored because Sony's going to be Sony. If you see this, I've got a video planned out. I'll talk more about that, but that's for that specific video. So, what I was asking, since we have a definitive release date for when the game's coming out in Japan. It's coming out Halloween this year in Japan. And Atlas is pretty notorious for taking a long time to localize their games. They're apparently changing up that process, so they'll be able to do worldwide releases day and date. I've heard. I think in this poll, Retro mentions that. So I'd have to look into that more because I haven't read that like from any source. I just heard that from Retro. So I asked people, when do you think it'll come out in the West? So I think like I said, specifically May 5th, 2020. And that's because Persona 5, the base game, came out in September 16th of 2016 in Japan, and then it launched, I think, April 4th, 2017 in the West. And I basically applied the same time, the same amount of time between the Japanese release and Western release for Persona 5 to Persona 5 The Royal. And I choose the first day. It was the first, I think, Tuesday of April when Persona 5 came out. And then I basically picked the first Tuesday of May. And they are around the same, around the same day. So that's when I think it'll come out from me. Just like using Persona 5's release schedule with Persona 5 The Royal. And I think that's the way Atlas would go about it, because I mean, it worked for Persona 5, right? And I think, they're probably going, and since, Persona 5 sold really well, I think they'll try and maintain that same production schedule. That is just me, though. It could come out earlier, it could come out later. Hopefully it doesn't come out later. So most people say, most people don't think there's enough information to decide. So 2 people say it will come out, but of the people who did respond, or of the people who have enough information to decide, most people said it will be early 2020. Two people said it will be late 2020. and we'll go through the reply. Majestic Beauregard says he'd say it's early 2020. I think it would be enough time to translate the new dialogue to English. However, he thinks there's a strong chance that the enhanced version of P5 might not make it through Sony's new sexual content board unscathed. The board didn't exist when Persona 5 first released, which is a really good point. I mean, there are a lot of aspects of Persona 5 that are really mature, really adult, very controversial, and they aren't necessarily there just to be, they definitely aren't there just for cheap laughs. They're there to make a point. They're there to make the story and the world feel more real and to get you invested into it. And I could definitely see Sony saying, this isn't something that we want. I can explain the point, because there are hit pieces about Persona 5 and how it sexualizes women, and it sexualizes women. It doesn't deal with these topics well enough. It's not a game with mature it's not a game that deals with these topics well. I'll save it for that whole video, but there is a very good case I could make for Sony wanting to censoring Persona 5 The Royal, because they will view any criticism against levied at Persona 5 as criticism against the PlayStation, and there will be people who, they think the people who read the Mike.com, Polygon, and Kotaku articles are thinking, well, Persona 5 is a game that was sexist and homophobic and whatnot. So I won't buy a PlayStation. I was going to buy a PlayStation, but then I read this Kotaku article that said that Persona 5 is a bad game, and it's a hateful game, so I will not buy my PlayStation. I will not buy your PlayStation, Sony. I think that is the literal mindset that they're in, which I think is ridiculous. But like I said, I'm getting off on a tangent. I will make a video about this because I think it needs to be talked about more. But we'll save it for then. So, Majestic Ghost says he won't be getting it though. Persona 5 is a great game. He's got about 50 hours into the first one, the original one, only about halfway through it. The thought of getting through that massive grind over again turns his stomach a little. Don't have the time or the willpower to finish these kinds of games anymore. Doubt I'll ever finish it, which is definitely a fair point. Persona 5 is a huge time investment, but I mean, I absolutely love it. And I'm one of the crazy people who's willing to invest that amount of time into Persona. Like, I'm just one of those people, and that's why I'm so hyped for this game, because I've been Persona 5 I wish I've been Persona 5 twice, and I'm on a third playthrough right now. Let's see. So Wicked Wolf says he's guessing late 2020. Catherine Full Body is getting released here in September. Came out Valentine's Day in Japan. Persona 5 is obviously a much bigger game, so I'm guessing it'll take a lot more time to translate and such. Hoping they'll have new content expansion for people who already own P5. Well, with Wicked Wolf, I don't think they are going to do that, because they're selling this as a standalone game that you're going to have to buy. I mean, maybe if I bought the game physically, so I don't think there's anything that Atlas could necessarily do, like to offer selling me Persona 5 Royal at on top of Persona 5. I'm willing to buy the game. Essentially, it's essentially going to be a new game, and I'm definitely going to be buying. I'll definitely be buying it launch day. Definitely. And I'm not going to. And I definitely won't trade in Persona 5 for the Royal, because if it gets censored or anything, I have the original Persona 5. I'll always be able to play that. It'll always be a great game. But the Royal might be. They could just blatantly censor. They blatantly might have to just remove some parts of the game. They're like with South Park and saying, well, in order to get this game, in order for us to release this game on Sony's platform, we had to remove this scene from the game. You can't see it because we don't want to hurt the kids or anything like that. So that's basically the only thing that's looming over Persona 5 Royal's enjoyment. And Catherine, I've got Catherine, the special edition, pre-ordered, and I'm very excited to play that. Just don't want it censored. So yeah, Twitch didn't vote. Doesn't care about this weed stuff. It should be an option. I'm sorry, Twitch. I know you don't care about weed stuff. I could have done 2 Persona 5 daily polls in a row, but I didn't, because I was thinking about people like you. Retro84 says not enough info. Well, I guess that info will be looking for the new. I guess the info that he's looking for is a new localization system that Atlas was working on. Not sure if that's in place yet or if they're still going to do that. If we're going the old way, my guess would be late 2020. So yeah, I mean, Yeah, I guess I haven't looked at the Retro's new localization system, but if they localize it in the way that they localized Persona 5, I think it'll be out in May. That and I would imagine they would use the same localization system they use for Persona 5, and since it came out in April of 2017, and the and Persona 5 came out September 16 in Japan. I think it'll be a similar amount of time that passes. So that is the way I see it. So I think it'll be out by May. That is just me. It could be out earlier, it could be out later. Press is still out on it, but I think it'll be. I think it'll be sometime in the. I think it'll be definitely in the earlier half of 2020 when Persona 5 will release. So that's basically it for this one. So I watched Young Yet. So this is Daily Pulse 62. Will BioWare be able to make Anthem a good game? And I watched I watched the Young Yet video about how BioWare essentially indefinitely delayed the roadmap for Anthem. And basically saying, I mean, it's done at this point. I mean, I've heard from the quartering that they're hiring more staff for Anthem on top of the people that they've already got. So they definitely could come back. They could definitely try and make it a good game. I honestly hope that they do. I really, really do. Because there's lots and lots of fans. There's lots and lots of fans who want this to be a good game, who want to be playing it, but it just isn't in the state it needs to be. And I think I'm going to sneeze soon. No, okay, I think I'm good. But if I do sneeze, then I'm sorry. So basically, just wanted to do this poll: will BioWare be able to make Anthem an actual product worth $60? And Anthem is done for the delays proof. 3/4 of the people. And then everyone else said there isn't enough information to decide, which I think at this point, I think with what I've heard now is what I'd vote. I voted in this option before, but now I'd say there isn't enough information for me to decide, because it seems like they are hiring more staff onto it. It probably made enough money to justify trying to really save it, but I don't know. So Beowulf says BioWare is long dead. All the talent left the company a long time ago. Only the names left. Anthem was doomed from conception, and there's no way they'll be able to save it. All interest and goodwill is gone. All that's left is for EA to add one more corpse to their mass grave of murdered companies and franchises. Expect Mass Effect Mobile in a couple of years or some shit like that. And that is, I mean, honestly, at this point, I think what EA is in the mindset right now is Dragon Age 4 will come out 2020 or 2021, depending on how much they can crunch it out. Whenever it comes out, it'll come out. It'll be a live service game with microtransactions built on Anthem's code base, so it could be really good. Doubt it's going to be, because EA doesn't want good single player games, maybe except for Fallen Order, but that's Respawn is like the exception to the rule of shitty EA games from how I see it. And so Dragon Age 4 is going to come out. It's going to be a shit game because it's going to be filled with microtransactions. It's going to be focusing on getting you to play, in perpetuity, instead of just being a good single player game like God of War, Persona 5, Fire Emblem, a whole slew of games that people love, people buy in droves, and actually like. So Dragon Age 4 come out, it will flop. EA will say, well, BioWare has released 3 straight flops, in terms of critically, and they might do somewhat well commercially, but I can guarantee you Anthem's going to be below expectation. I doubt it sold the 6 million in 6 weeks that it needed to. It probably, it might have sold 3 million or so, 3 or 4, which it wasn't still really, really good. Don't get me wrong, but they're not making all of the money with Anthem. And if you aren't making all of the money with Anthem, then the game is just a flop. And that's the way EA is going to see it. And Dragon Age 4 is going to have the same exact fate. And once they see that the user counts are going down, which EA really, really cares about with these live service games, they're going to well, I guess we're going to dissolve BioWare, and then we'll, just sit on their IPs, share out a few mobile games to, make some money off of, that mistake of, thinking, that mistake of making, single player games. We're trying to make BioWare games when EA hasn't let BioWare make a BioWare game since probably 2010, I'd say. Mass Effect 3 was a bit of a mess, but Mass Effect 2 was like the last, like, really good BioWare. I mean, it was I've only played the Mass Effect franchise. That is the only BioWare games I played. I know KOTOR. People like KOTOR a lot, and I probably would like it too, but I don't know. It's just like I don't feel like giving EA money. Twitch says Anthem is out of luck. The only question in his mind is how long. EA will pull the plug on BioWare 6 months a year. You can bet on anything in Vegas. I wonder if there's an over/under for how long BioWare lasts. I mean, we could do one to watch it. We literally have a pot of like, when do you think BioWare is going out of business? I will say this. I can't give you a specific date. It definitely will be after Dragon Age 4 flops. That is when I think it will be. It will be after Dragon Age 4 flops. So yeah, thanks Master. It's game over for Anthem and BioWare. It's dead. The sooner they stop flogging this dead game, the better. Anthem and BioWare are done. BioWare definitely finished. Mass Effect Andromeda, and now this. BioWare has the same problem that Blizzard does. All the old talent left. Anthem was dead on arrival. Never stood a chance. Oh, that's pretty definitive. Very sad. I mean, they're trying to definitely save Anthem now, but just because you bring more people onto a project doesn't necessarily mean you'll be able to save it, and it definitely doesn't mean you'll be able to get it be able to make a first impression again. And BioWare's first, second, and third impressions, as far as I'm concerned, have all been pretty shit. And for most people, like, I spent $60 on this game. I've spent $60 on this game over a month ago. I'm still crashing on the servers. I still have shit loot in this looter shooter game, and a lot of the reasons why I bought past BioWare games just aren't present in Anthem. So I'm just never playing again. They either they trade it in, or they uninstall it from their console or their PC, and they never look back. And they go back to playing better games, or Division 2, or Borderlands, or like literally anything else that is actually a decent game. So I think there's a large amount of people who played Anthem. Like I played it. I'm not going back to the game. I'm not going to buy EA. I'm not buying Origin Access again just to play Anthem. I might buy it to play Fallen Order. That turns out to be a good game, but I'm not going to play Anthem when that happens, unless something really, really drastic happens to make it a game worth picking up. And it's not like I don't think BioWare will be able to patch Anthem into a BioWare game. Like they won't be able to make it Mass Effect 2 in the state that it is now. They just can't, because the game has to be released like Mass Effect 2 in order to be like Mass Effect 2. That's how I see it. So it's pretty sad. But we'll go for the last daily poll. Did you buy Days Gone? Most people didn't buy Days Gone, have no plans to. It's a little bit better. It's a little bit better than the Mortal Kombat poll, because the Mortal Kombat poll is over 90% of people who had no plans of doing this, no plans of buying the game, whereas it's only 84% of people with Days Gone, so it's still not good, but a lot of people don't have PlayStation 4s on this one. They're like PC only, or they PC and Switch, so you'd have to get over the whole buying a PlayStation 4, which a lot of people don't want to do, or a lot of people already have, and of the people who have, they don't really care about it. So, but I'll definitely buy Days Gone in the future. Price is going to have to go down, and it definitely is going to. It's going to need a few patches, I'd say, in order to make it that. They need a few patches will be needed to make it. To iron out all the bugs and everything, maybe make the controls feel a little bit more responsive. Because I watched Young's review, and it seems like a decent game. There's some technical issues that hold it back, but and the gameplay can be a bit grindy, which I honestly I don't mind, because I'll probably be able to turn my brain off for shooting sections, and hopefully the tribal stuff will find well done. So when I go into it for $30, I'll probably really enjoy it, and that's the mindset I am, and that's the mindset I'm in. So yeah, didn't buy it, have no plans to buy, past the smell of The smell of mediocrity in that game is too strong for me. That's what I felt like for a lot of Days Gone's review. But then I found out more about this game, and it seems like it got actually some personality to it. But obviously, it's got like enough. I think there's enough there with Days Gone that I'm going to be willing to buy it when it goes on sale, like Black Friday or whatever. And that's basically where I'm at with it. Cousin Ed doesn't own a PS4, so no interest in the game. One of those games you pick up after console life cycle is over and get one when you can get one for $100 or less. Then you buy the game used for $5 or $10. Never pay full price for peasant boxes or console exclusive kids. Put that money towards a killer gaming PC, which I am doing, Cousin Ed. But I mean, if you watch this video, Cousin Ed, I don't think saying like, and obviously the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. They don't have a lot of features that PC has. They're really underpowered. You can't upgrade them. You can't play them at plus 60 frames a second, which I'm planning to do with my custom build. I'm going to get a 2070, and it's going to be running a 1080p 144 hertz monitor, and it's going to be pretty epic. And I'll have a dual screen setup, and I'll have SSDs, and I'll have all the bells and whistles. Not all of them. But I'll have a lot of really good stuff that I just can't do with console. But I do like the PlayStation 4, do like the Switch, do like my Wii U. I do like consoles, and I don't, I'm not going to really insult people who play consoles or anything like that. Like, so I won't call them peasant boxes. I mean, obviously you can do whatever you want, cousin, but I just think it's a little bit too combative because, at the end of the day, we're all gamers. We all play games. If you play the PS4 version of The Witcher just because you can't play with mouse and keyboard or with, super good frames or high anti-aliasing thing doesn't make you inferior to, me who's played the game on PC. That's just the way I view it. If you want to view it a different way, then you're welcome to. But I think, the PC Master Race, it was like a fun meme, like 2013, 2014. But I sort of went out of it as I just got older, and like PC is still a better platform, but like being like too like insulting and like mean with people because they choose to play on a console isn't the best thing to do. But I don't really think that the PC Master Race will do that for people who just want to play on console. It's just the people who think that console is like better than PC in every way, and then try to justify it with really stupid reasons as to where that community gets a problem with. And I'm the same way, because I'm not going to say that PlayStation 4 is like is superior to my PC, because it just isn't. So as most people say, just like The Last of Us looks boring as hell to me, not buying. That's Turnic Man 228. So so I think so Star Magician he said the poll results ouch, and it's definitely bad for Days Gone, but it's not as bad as Mortal Kombat, and that's what I said. Some other people say not interested. I think this has been it. This was the last one. Yes. This was the last one. I hope you enjoyed this. This was the 8th episode of Poll Review. Pretty sure it was. So I haven't uploaded anything between the last Poll Review. If you are one of the few people who watches my content and was waiting for something, I just never got around to making a video. Like I said, I am planning on making a video. It's going to be about Sony censorship and how that will affect. I'm concerned about that affecting Persona 5 The Royal, and like a good case that Sony has to censor the game based on their guidelines. So I think they should just get rid of this bullshit, because it's like it's Puritan. It's it's Puritan. It's really stupid, and it's only pissing off the people who actually buy the game, not the people who get pissed off because it's they're in a market. They're pissed off like in a market that they don't participate in. It'd be like me saying like, oh, I'm mad at Sephora because they test their makeup products on animals or whatever. I mean, I'm not going to buy Sephora. Like, I'm not going to buy Sephora makeup anyway. So if I am outraged about it, Sephora has literally no reason to stop doing what they're doing to try and satisfy a person who's never going to buy the products. And that's what I view what Sony's trying to do. Like, they're trying to satisfy people who don't buy their products, don't want to. They just want to be mad about it because that is their MO. They just want to be mad about things. They want to control the conversation. And making sure entertainment bows down to what they do. It's how they do it. And Sony's came in, and it's really, really disappointing. But like I said, I've gone into that rant like 2 or 3 times. I apologize for it. I will definitely save it for that video. I'll definitely try and get it out sometime this week. Definitely not today though, since I filmed this video. I got some things to do today. But I have been going on this outro for way too long. This video is like 45 minutes long. But if you sat through it, then thanks for watching it. So if you did like it, then you can like it. Dislike it. If you dislike it, then leave it a big fat dislike. And if you want to stick around for more videos, you can press that subscribe button. Then you'll be able to stick around for the next time I upload, either next poll review I do, next videos I upload, because I like to do like general videos talking about gaming and such. And I'd be welcome to have you in the comments, just liking or